Work session.
Okay. Too close.
Five.
Work session. All right, well, let's start with 35 Mason. Comments from board members.
I was approved as submitted with a comment, third appearance with 2 exclamation points.
Think the metal roof has been added?
Yes, that it was not metal before. It was, the discussion was that it was going to be shingles. But there's been a metal roof added on the front and back porch.
I guess that was the only thing that kind of jumped out at me. I'm just questioning if that's a historic feel to the home or not by adding that metal roof. Yeah, I think everything else we talked about got picked up.
There were a couple of items. Most everything, got picked up and looks good. There was a couple of little stragglers that I feel confident we can take care of. Just clarify what the roof material is going to be on the rest of the house, because the material is not called out and there's nothing really illustrated. And then we mentioned that historic trim at the bay eaves is to be retained, and that isn't noted on the drawings, but I think we can put it in the motion. And then another item is the front door. We had talked about retaining the existing front door, which to me looks really pretty nice. And if it could not be retained because it's truly beyond repair, we talked about having a period appropriate front door. And I don't believe that what's there is compatible with the historic character of the house. It's the same door that was shown the last time. So we can maybe look into that a little bit. I really like the way the round columns turned out. That looks really good. I do have a suggestion that if the column that is just to the right of the front door, if that one was to be eliminated and have the door and then the adjacent window kind of be framed by these 2 columns as one element, and then widen the stair out to the right, it would make the width of the stair more proportional with the rest of the house. And it would, I think that would look nicer. It'd be more gracious look. But we can talk about that. And then also too, it's great that that historic garage is going to be retained. But we do not have a scope of work on it. And because it is a contributing resource, we would need a specific scope of work. Perhaps that could be handled as a separate project. Just, so we're all squared away on exactly what's happening there.
Can you clarify your comment about the garage doors?
No, the garage itself, the existing detached garage.
Right.
Is a contributing resource.
Right, okay.
Okay, and we don't have a scope of work. There's just a note on the site plan that says it's to be rehabilitated. So
Okay.
there would need to be a specific scope of work for that.
So we're not talking about the garage showing on the left side. That's why I was confused. It's the detached garage in the back.
Correct.
And you say we can make that its own little deal.
That can be handled as a separate project because we don't have a scope of work called out for it. So we really can't review it or vote on it appropriately.
So for me, I do appreciate some of these changes that were made, the columns and so forth. Excuse me. One thing that is the same is that there's this big, so this is it's a 4 square basically, and the massing of the house is not apparent anymore. I believe that was mentioned before about stepping that back. Typically, you still do not have the same plane for an elevation of a historic house. It's a historic district, and those are the rules basically. So it doesn't step back. It has one plane completely across and changes the massing of the house, which for me is step number 1 in historic preservation. So yeah, it doesn't do that. And the metal roof, I'm not sure where that change came from, but that is also, it doesn't appear historic. It's a historic district. It's one thing out in other parts of town, but it's a historic district.
It just, it's these things that, like the front door style and the metal roof are things that are just sort of trendy right now. And it's not a trendy house. It's not like a rehab in a neighborhood or an infill house that we see a lot of that
Yeah.
farmhouse style, and those farmhouse elements on the historic house in the historic district are just not appropriate.
Well, when you say metal roof, there's a lot of different metal roofs, and I think I could agree with you on depending on what type of metal roof it is, but if it's a legit.
What, a tin coated copper? Is that what he was going to put on there?
I-
You think?
Turn
Doubt it.
code.
That'd be a
Turn-coated steel or copper
I doubt
or
that's what
If
it
it's,
is.
if it's a legitimate
It has
standing
vinyl
seam
siding,
roof.
so.
and has the right
Yeah.
spacing and stuff, I don't think we can make the comment that might not have never happened in history, but if it's a lot of the metal roofs people talk about don't really, they're not very convincing looking. So I'm concerned on that sense.
I absolutely agree, but we don't have that kind of specificity.
Okay.
And if, there's a discussion and it can be determined that the roof would be appropriate historically, that would be a different story. However,
Okay.
the spacing and such that I'm seeing here really doesn't look
Okay.
historic. And also there it's, there's no specific material or style called out.
Well, and if he were just to go with a matching, you might have to do an ice underlayment because of the lower slope, but I wouldn't have a problem if you just wanted to go to the regular shingle matching the rest of the house. Is that okay with you guys?
That would be
Okay.
fine. I
Alright.
think that would look that would
yeah,
be
that's what
nice.
it was originally.
Yeah, that's
Um,
what we agreed
And
upon
I think that's
last
why
time.
there's discussion about it now because it wasn't there the last time. I agree on the metal roof. If it was historically appropriate, I would have no problem with it. So the material and the spacing of the ribs.
Which is typically 14-inch, I think, isn't it? You take an 18-inch piece of steel and they fold it, and they get 14-inch centers, I think. Something like that.
Yeah. I think I made the comment in my review comments when we sent this out that I agreed with Angela that the house would be better if you could take that addition and just push it back. I mean, it doesn't even really have to be 4 or 6 inches, pretty insignificant amount to kind of set it off. I thought that was a good idea, constructability wise as well, because then you're not trying to align the stuff. So, all right. Next on the list is 351 Violet Lane. Oh, wait a minute. Which one am I looking at? Okay, that's an old one. Sorry. We didn't get copies of the new. Yeah, because that's what she just said. She didn't email anything new, right? So,
Mhm, correct.
all right, 351 Violet Lane. Any comments?
This one I said I couldn't evaluate based on what we got because there's no context. All the window photos are really close up, so I don't know what the rest of the house has. And
I couldn't figure out exactly what was being replaced with what. Like, obviously, there's a double hung, a sliding, and then this
Right.
set of sliders. but
I
then-
think you take your pick. I'm kidding.
Yeah, 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 exactly. How are we supposed to? So, right. I don't know which one.
Could we suggest that maybe
Those-
they take the photographs and they just take a red pen and show
I know.
what's
that
going
would-
on there or something? But yeah, to me, I'm sure the sliders proposed to go, I'm guessing slider. goes
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
I actually did a little
you
extra
could
work
guess
on
it.
this one and drew this out what I thought it was. But my comment was, no matter what it is, they should all, it would look better if it was proportional. So if they're double hungs, that first one's a double hung, so the next ones could have the same horizontal. If they're sliders, but they could be divided in the same proportion. So it basically looks like what's there without even looking at the context. I was just looking at the pictures. That's all I was doing and just saying, if you're replacing these, what's wrong with the proportions that are there? And having the horizontal run through them all, if you're gonna have double hungs, then it should run through them all, was my thought. So maybe window one, if it's a double hung, window two is 3 double hungs or 2 slider, I mean, that's where I was getting.
You're kind of, we're still kind of guessing.
Yeah, I'm guessing for sure. But that was my comment. So,
Yeah, they should all match. I also
Yeah,
did
that's
feel
what-
that way, like they should match each other.
Okay.
That's kind of what you're going, yeah.
pretty much. All right, 711 Colebrook Drive. What was, anyone have any comments on that one? That was a window install.
I just was wanting to make sure they're going to replace this
Yeah,
here, this door with the 2 windows with 3 double hungs.
that's what it looks like.
I feel again like I'm guessing.
Yeah.
So
kinda where I
if
was-
that's what they're doing, that's okay, but
Yeah.
yeah,
That's what
I'm
I,
not totally
that's-
sure.
Yeah, and then the quantities, I counted like 7 or 8 new windows in the quantities, so.
Right,
Mm.
the
I was
quantity
wondering
doesn't say that,
I
right,
didn't look
exactly.
at that. Okay,
More.
okay.
On that one, they are replacing some windows, but those were the only ones that would have been affected by ARB. So
Okay.
the
Just
the
rest of
front.
the windows,
Oh,
it was kind of
okay.
a lot submitted by the homeowner. And we had to kind of weed out what didn't apply. Those 2 items were the items that needed to go to ARB.
So it is simply the 2 windows in the door becoming 3 windows. Okay.
Yeah.
That
So
clarifies
they're
that.
replacing the front window and then the one that you had mentioned, the door with the 2 windows. So it's just going in with windows.
But they're replacing a different one where it's just gonna look the same, you mean? Kind of thing or something?
Yeah, well, it's a different style. I think the original on the house, which should have been in there, was a picture window with 2 gliders, and he's going with a picture window with 2 double hungs.
Oh, okay, that's better.
Oh, it is. And that, so in this picture, it would be like, can you see
Same
that?
proportions, just double hung.
And so
Yeah.
then this would be 3 double hungs?
Yeah.
Oh,
And then the
okay.
3 double hungs is where the door and the
Yeah.
windows were. Yeah.
Hmm.
I'm coming in late on this, so I don't.
Yeah,
That's
this was-
okay.
Travis-
That makes sense.
You're more knowledgeable than we are.
I'm gonna agree on that one. And so originally, if it was just gonna be the windows, I was gonna approve that administratively. And then we found out there was also the door. But yes, it's 3 double hungs in a row where it's double hung door, double hung. And then there'll be material to match below. And then in the other one, it's a double hung and then the picture window and then a double hung.
Got it. Okay, that's good. We can- we
Okay.
can
That was
approve
one
that
where
one.
if I could
All
have
right.
clarified it with them and made a motion, I would have done that. And that would.
so we could pre-approve that one.
Yeah, I think with the clarification that the infill material will match the existing.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Next we have 523 Ambergate. My comment on this one was, could we separate them more? Can we move the shed? To me, wouldn't you want enough space to be able to fix the facade and maintain the landscape?
Yeah.
If
I
there's
wouldn't
an
have, I
issue.
wouldn't have any problem with that. And my thing was, and I'm confident looking at this picture, that shed's a lot shorter than this garage.
Yeah,
I was wondering, is it taller or?
So they can get a lawnmower in there and move in and keep it, maintain the dirt.
That was
mhm.
my question also, Ken. If the shed were to tuck underneath the gutter line of
It
the
should
adjacent
be,
garage,
yeah.
I think that would be, look fine. But there is actually a dimension on one of the photos that has 12 inches, and it looks like they're referring to 12, that the top of the shed is 12 inches above that gutter line. So I just wanted clarification on how tall that really is. And also, it looks like that shed is placed on a hill. It's a rather sloping site.
Mhm.
And I'm wondering if the intention is to actually let the shed slope with the site, which I think would give a rather awkward appearance.
Nah.
So, and one of the illustrations does almost look like the intent is to slope it. So I wanted to clarify that. And also, if there's going to be a gap between the bottom of the shed and the grade, how is that going to be covered, especially with that sloping condition? I think it, it's something that with tweaks and clarifications could look okay. It'd be nice if it was farther back, but, we can kind of review some of those things.
Mhm.
Mara, I got a question for you. The size of the shed is 9 by 17. Isn't there some point where you trigger the need for a concrete slab or something for a shed or?
Yes, he'd have to give the construction information in regards to whether he needs a footing or a foundation, but at this point, because you're looking at the details, are you trying to ask because if they put that separation in terms of the concrete and the maintenance between? I mean, he could, in doing the slab, put more, so let's see, 9 by 17. They can't just do tie downs for that, correct?
That's what I'm.
He's gonna check really quick. I
Okay.
think that's just large enough that you can't do the tie downs. So they would have to have either some sort of footing or a, or a,
It was 200 square.
is it 200 square
I
feet?
think so.
Couldn't remember if it was 100 or 200. But the option
So,
could be that
okay.
if they put a slab under it and then did the slab to the house, that would remove some of the maintenance issues.
You're right about that.
Still have water issues.
Mhm.
You'd still want it, well, I mean, I would think you want it wide enough a person can get in there.
Right, that's what I thought.
Yeah, it can't be like.
And
this
well,
big.
we'll ask them if they created 5 feet distance, it would solve a lot of problems. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
At least 3. Okay,
so it's 200 square feet. That's okay.
all right. Next one is, and I think we got was 316 Maple, and I think there's something for us all. Was there a supplemental drawing here?
Yeah, some update that I guess we just received.
Yeah, and then I think it shows some
Oh, yeah.
details under what's going underneath the deck.
You know what the differences are between the two drawings? Right.
Hold on, I'm trying to look for it now.
Yeah, I was not sure either.
I think they called out the height, because I know that was a question that I had on the privacy fence, how tall it was. Oh, no. it was, I don't know.
All right, I sent an email and I told them to just bring it to the meeting. And I know that applicant,
Oh.
the homeowners are gonna be on.
Okay.
They
I'm
told me
seeing-
what it was gonna be.
Oh,
I'm seeing guardrails got
yeah,
removed.
page 5 is different.
They removed the guardrails off the lower deck.
Oh, okay. Well, if we don't need them, it looks better.
That's what I'm seeing.
Okay. I like that.
That's a cleaner look.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, that's better. Yeah, that is better.
Okay.
Yeah,
What's the next one?
because it's just this high up.
Mhm.
So,
Three 16 South Maple. Yeah, that's the only difference I see. Were there other
The-
questions?
A minor driveway change, right? And doors deleted or changed out to be windows. So that was my comments.
On the deck, are
That
you
wasn't a comment, that was an observation.
on the deck project?
They- Looked like they had some doors that were eliminated and because they were changing the driveway. Did I read that correctly? That was my note. I didn't look at this today.
New deck. I don't see
Yep.
anything about the driveway.
That's the wrong one.
Oh, well, that would explain this. Oh, that's
Yeah, we're on
We're on
316
Glendale.
Maple.
Maple, I'm sorry. Okay, I
So
am right.
There you
about
go.
that.
It's this one with just this deck that looks like that.
Oh,
has
okay.
That
I thought we were
and
done with that.
looks,
right, okay. So
that makes a difference, yeah. Or threw me off. Okay.
all right, so are there any comments on 316 Maple with the amendments? And if
It's
not,
fine.
then I think we could pre-approve that one.
That's fine.
Okay,
So just here's the clarification. It says, I was reviewing the deck project information that was submitted by our office. a deck replacement project. There was one detail in the set of plans that we submitted that was supposed to be omitted, no rails on the lower deck.
Got it.
So those are the new sets with the no rails.
Okay. Thank you. Next, we have 604 Glendale Avenue. So one of them's the amendment to the addition, and then we also have the garage, which is detached, so they're two separate projects.
I had noted that the updated drawings show a deck or railing above the front door. And it's not shown in the photos. I don't know if that's construction that's to be done or if that's not gonna be added.
I drove by there and it really does look a bit odd without that railing because they've just got like a parapet along the front
Oh, is
of that protrusion at the front door. And then the sides drop down to a gutter. And
Oh.
it's really awkward looking in person. So I think that if they put that railing on, it would look much better.
Mhm. Fill that space. It looks kind of empty right there,
Yeah.
that window up high.
Which one, which part's that?
It's the very
Slightly.
front door.
Is the owner or somebody going to be here on this? Maybe just let them talk and tell us what changed. We'll get it all right. You're saying something about a garage. I didn't see that.
That's another set of drawings.
Yeah, all right, so we have a discussion on the house. What about on the detached garage?
My only questions on that are if the doors are actually going to be plain flush doors or if different styles will be selected.
And then I think, yeah, we'll talk, when we get it. No, it's, thank you. No, that's no problem. And then I think I had asked a question about the detail potentially matching the roof of the house on the in gables. That was just a question I had on that. So we're gonna discuss those. In person at the regular meeting. So that leaves us with 801 Greeley Avenue.
Oh, I see. Two separate
Yeah.
line items. Okay.
This one we saw, they made some changes. Are there additional comments?
Yeah, I think
These are
Mara
the-
said something about that they were planning on bringing revised drawings this evening because they had gone out of town or something and hadn't submitted drawings before they left. So I just held up off on any comments until we got the updated drawings.
Yeah, and I did comment saying that I felt like that was not enough time for us to review this project just
Yeah.
in the meeting, but
Depends kind of on the scope of the changes that have been made, because we did discuss it at the information session and so
Right.
I guess we would need to actually see the drawings and see if there's substantial changes or not.
They're not even here yet, so.
yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, there was a lot in that project. It just felt like it needed more than just a glance, figure out what was going on.
So we're just going to table this.
I think we'll wait to see if
Potentially.
the owners come up
Yeah.
and have revised drawings and then determine the scope of the revisions and whether they can be reviewed effectively
Yeah,
in a very short frame of time or not.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah. So we just have two?
two pre-approvals.
Yeah. Two, correct.
Everyone's house all wet?
Yes, of course. Of course, my basement is wet.
That is
Really?
Most people. Okay, ready to go. Welcome everyone to the Architectural Review Board meeting. We just finished our work session, so the official meeting is now underway. Introduce Yolanda Wilkins and Andrew Klosterman with the city. We have Carol Dunkey, Tracy Collins, Ken Burns, Angela Thompson, and myself, Bob Buckman. We are volunteer architects that sit on the board. First item of business is review of meeting minutes from July 21st, where we were all present. With that, do I have a motion on the July 21st meeting minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from July 21st as written.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Oh, sorry. Opposed? All right. Meeting minutes are approved. Next item, we have a couple of pre-approvals. First one is 711 Colebrook Drive. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve 711 Colebrook Drive as submitted with the understanding that the wall opening left by removal of the door will be infilled with siding to match.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That's 711 Colebrook is approved. Next, we have 316 South Maple. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion to approve 316 South Maple based upon the drawings we received tonight.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? 316 South Maple is approved. At this point, if we read your project, that takes care of the pre-approval. So if we read your project at this point, I ask you to come forward and introduce yourself if you're in person. And if you're online, to raise your hand and we'll add you to the discussion. First one is a public hearing, 35 Mason.
Judd Fuhrer, Dogwood Homes.
Welcome, Judd.
Yep. So I think the architect put the metal roof on because he was worried about the slope, but let's just say it's gonna have architectural shingles that match the rest of the roof, so you can knock that one off your list. Let's see, those details that you, Carol, saw on the bay are staying. He just doesn't have them on there, so they're not going anywhere, they're staying. Like I stated before at the last meeting, we're gonna try to rehabilitate the front door if possible. If not, I've seen plenty of these 3/4 light doors in the park on houses, so I don't know what type of door you want.
I think that you would be safe if you would stay with a style that's very similar to the existing. That would match the original character and style of the house.
I mean, that's fine. I'm not gonna argue, not in the mood. Let's see. Widening the porch stairs. I mean, I'm fine with taking that post off and widening the porch stairs. Doesn't make a difference to me. It's easier to put a handrail down off the other post anyway, so that's fine. When it comes to stepping back the long side, we had a long discussion and you wanted all these windows added on the one side of the house. And I made all those compromises for you. I wish you would have said something ahead of time. I mean, if you want it set back, we can probably set it back 6 inches, but I mean,
That was stated at the last.
it was stated that, hey, we may want it, but if you're willing to add all these other windows because it's such a long span, we're okay with that. That was the exact words. We can probably listen to the Zoom
You
and
know,
listen to it, but
Actually, that's my recollection too, because we did make the comment that it should step back. And I recall that I did say on the other homes in the area, if there is a flat facade, it has lots of generous windows. And while I do think it would be better to step it back, I do recall that that was the discussion. And I do appreciate that you added those windows because I do think it looks better. I do wish it wasn't stepped back, but I do recall that specific discussion and you did add the windows.
That's what I remember too.
thank you.
Is there anything else on the list?
I did, let's see, was there anything else? Oh yeah, we just wanted to remark that when you determine exactly what you want to do with the garage, we'll need a submitted scope of work on that that actually calls it out, because it is a contributing resource in the historic district. So
I mean, I was planning on just keeping the siding and painting it to match the house that's on there. We were keeping the existing barn doors that were on there.
okay,
So,
That's fine. You're good.
That's not really anything we'd be, you can paint anything you want.
yeah, I'm not tearing it down, not changing the structure. I'm gonna put a new roof on it to match the house. So I'm
Yeah.
not doing anything.
But it's more a matter of if you were going to do something that required a permit. If you're
Right.
doing things that don't require a
No, I'm
permit,
not.
then,
It's just
then
gonna be
it's
used
fine.
as a
Then
shed.
it's fine.
Yeah.
We were meaning
Okay.
more if you're doing
Yeah.
something that's requiring
Yeah.
a permit.
okay,
Yeah.
could I just go over it with you, Jed, and verify the scope of work? So you're placing the roof, is that correct?
Yes,
Okay, so it'll be replace the roof. The existing doors will remain.
yes.
Okay, and are there any windows? We don't have any
I think
side.
there may be one on the side. It'll remain.
Okay.
so.
Okay, so the existing window will remain. And then the siding,
I mean, I'm pretty sure it has a similar siding to the house. It actually may have the original wood
okay.
lap board, which we'll just end up painting to match the house. So,
Okay, so the siding will either remain or be replaced to match existing?
correct.
Okay. Yeah, I think that solves it.
Yeah, and
Yes.
just from my viewpoint on the setting back, I didn't make it a requirement, but I think I said the comment, it just seems like it would look better. And then the constructability wise, this is kind of a question, because, that's an old house. Is that wall gonna be plumb and square or not? And so I kind of threw it out kind of back as a question. So in my mind, adding the windows is great. I think it's gonna look fine. I think it would look better if it was stepped back. I would just put it in as an option for you to consider to step it back myself. And it's kind of a question to you. At the same time, I'm making the comment just so to clarify, because we all have different thoughts on this. So,
I mean, put it as an option. I can talk to the architect about it. I just know there's a staircase there. So.
yeah,
so that's the
understood,
biggest issue.
understood.
I don't have any objections against a non-binding recommendation about the offset on the walls. So if that's where we are, we can keep going.
Yeah. All right. Did we cover everything?
There's
I
no
think
shortage
so.
of windows on that elevation.
You what?
There's no shortage of windows on that elevation.
No,
so-
I think that it was a huge improvement and I appreciate it very much.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, and as far as the roofing goes, if you want us to put something in on standing seam that's historic, we could do that as well. Because
I mean, I'm
I don't-
fine with the roof to match. I think he was just worried about the slope, but. it's a problem.
Exactly.
So, I mean, I don't
So-
want to have rolled roofing up there. So if it comes down to it, I mean,
Mhm.
I'll come back and ask you guys, I guess. So. but-
Okay. All right, sounds good.
You're not gonna like the price tag on it.
Exactly. I know metal roof's
Standing seam.
expensive. I don't even know why you put it on
I
there,
know
but
that.
that's probably why. Just he was worried about the slope,
An
but
ice underlayment's a lot less money.
yeah.
Well, but turn coated steel will last 150 years.
Yeah.
If not more.
But they have in all the Caribbean houses. so.
Okay. I think
All
we
right,
got it.
this is the public hearing, so is there anyone else present or online that wants to make a comment on 35 Mason? And seeing no one, can I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to approve 35 Mason with the following understandings. The column on the front porch to the right of the front door will be eliminated, and the stair will be widened to the right to that column. The roof material for the entire house, including the porches, will be shingles. The existing historic trim at the bay eaves will be retained. If the front door cannot be repaired and restored, which is the preference, it will be replaced with a new door that is very similar in style to the front door. The garage will be rehabilitated with shingles to match the house. The existing doors and windows will remain and be painted. The siding will either be painted or it will be replaced with siding to match existing if necessary. And there's an option to step the house back on the right side elevation in order to show the original back rear corner of the house.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
I'm going to abstain. I understand he understood something differently than I did, so I appreciate that, but I'm going to abstain because of that.
All right. You're approved.
All right, thank you. Have a
Have
good night.
evening. Yep. All right, next we have 35 Violet Lane.
John Miller.
Welcome, John.
Welcome. Is it 351? Violet Lane.
Correct.
Yeah, okay. We're replacing some windows in the front of the house.
Yeah. My question, I think I said these along. If the first window one, you're basically replacing a double hung.
Yes.
Window two is a double slider. And
Yes.
my question was, would you consider three double hungs? Or a 3-light slider that way they're more proportionate to what's there. And, a horizontal bar, that was my thought. So that you have a double hung and then the look of 3 double hungs. And then on to the last one, which was window 3, you have a 3,
Basements, I guess.
yeah, 3 light slider there. So my comment was, would you, and this is just my comment, others might have other things to add, but add a horizontal bar so that those look like, they would basically be 3, they would look like 3 double hungs.
Give it a double hung look to.
And those were the comments I think I sent along. I don't know if Mara shared those. I forget. Those didn't. Okay, sorry. I'm sorry. I mean, you already said that, I think, but there's a lot going on. So, so that was the comments when I first saw this, and it's kind of a question to you.
That is possible. I think this is just what the homeowner wanted in there. But it's possible.
Yeah. So for me, it's just, the windows are being replaced with a different look, and I don't know what the rest of the house looks like either. That's a kind of an issue.
What does it look like? What are the other windows?
I think they're similar to that. It's a 1951 house, with that type of window,
With what kind of window?
with this double hung and double hung look to it.
2/2s.
Just, yeah, are there any divisions in that? Like, is it just one, is it open? Are there grids in it or anything? Or just, what do they look like?
Let's see, I think there are some grids.
Yeah, I drove by there and there are grids in the other windows.
There are.
Yeah.
So these will look different
Odd.
than all the other windows?
Yeah, and they're right, these windows to be replaced are right together in the middle of the front elevation. So my suggestion was similar to Bob's. Is there something that we can do to add grills or to those windows to make them look more compatible with each other and with the rest of the house?
Yeah, that's true. If there are grills everywhere, if they got the muntins, they could just have the sliders with muntins, if that would kind of coordinate things maybe.
Yeah, actually, the middle windows have a little different grid pattern than the other ones.
Mhm.
They don't have like a meeting rail on them.
Mhm.
They're a casement type
Casements,
window.
yeah.
Yeah. So,
It might be a little awkward to have those outswinging casements over your seating area of your porch. So maybe going something that didn't swing out was the idea there.
Yeah,
Right, and
Yeah.
have sliders that,
Yeah.
3-light sliders.
the grids.
Either for the window 2, I thought you could either do a 3-light slider with a grid to make that match the double hung. or
With
if you-
like a mid rail.
Right.
Okay,
And that way, those windows are all looking the same proportionally.
right.
And it's, they have, and from the exterior and the interior of the house, then both views would be the same.
Okay, yeah, I understand.
I'm just curious, not that it matters. Is this a front porch or a rear porch? What is this?
Front.
Okay. well,
Yeah, it's hard to tell by the pictures.
the
Okay.
pictures is-
So, other comments from the board?
I'm good with what you're doing, so.
Yeah, I agree with your suggestion.
Yeah, so that's really the question for yourself. If you're open, or do you need to check with the homeowner and then?
I
come
would
back?
need to check, yeah.
Okay, well, that's, that was our thought, and I think it's important that they coordinate. So if you want to, coordinate that with them and maybe, resubmit it, if they're good with that, I think then the board would be good with it as well.
Could it be approved that way?
We could approve it with
We
the
approve it that
horizontal
way.
rail.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we could, sure.
They could
All right.
resubmit if they don't. want
Yeah,
it.
Yeah.
That,
we
I
would-
think that would work if we approve it that way. And
Yep.
then if for some reason they don't, they're not comfortable with that, then you could come back
Okay.
then.
Yeah.
I mean, is everybody good with that?
Mhm.
yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
So with that, do I have a motion on 351 Violet Lane?
I make a motion on 351 Violet that it be approved with the condition that the windows, all the windows will have a horizontal rail at the mid-height of the units. So they replicate a double hung appearance.
And then what
And-
about the grill?
And the window 2
Will be 3 like, yeah.
It'll be 3
will be a
lights.
3-light or 3 double hungs.
Oh, I didn't know did he agree with
That
that?
one. This, because this one is going to replace these 3.
I knew that. I thought.
So we're meaning just make, Bob was saying, just make them all the same size again and all that same double hung.
Were you talking
or-
3 different windows?
No, so then
I
we'd
must have
have
missed
just
something
two,
here. 'cause
two.
I thought we were just doing a horizontal rail.
Yeah, I said both. I said the horizontal rail throughout, but
Okay.
But you'd
on
have this
window
with
2,
this.
it could be a 3-light slider with the horizontal rail or 3 double hungs.
So it'd be
Or it's-
a slider with a fixed side unit.
Correct.
Okay.
These here, we just would not have this at all.
Yeah.
So you either have
So it's
this or this.
Yeah.
Well,
Correct.
gonna look like that.
Yeah.
I'll let you modify the deal because I missed it. So we'll start all over.
All right, can I have a
Take the
motion?
ball and run with it.
Angela?
okay. I make a motion to approve 351 Violet Lane with the understanding that window 2 will be either 3 double hungs or a slider similar to window 3. And all of the windows will have a horizontal muntin so that they look the same as the double hung windows.
Okay.
Second?
All in favor?
I,
Aye, opposed? All right, you're approved.
All right. Thank you.
Have a good evening.
You too.
Next, we have 523 Ambergate. Someone online for that one? Hello?
Hi, this is Tom Miller. The
Hi, Tom,
homeowner.
welcome.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me.
Sure. So I think there was a question about the separation. Did you, and the construction of this thing? How close is it going to be to the house? How tall is it? And what's the foundation going to be for it? Are
Yeah,
you-
so I apologize for the confusion about the footing. So it's actually going to be leveled, compact gravel for the entire footprint, plus some additional a buffer around the edges of it. So it won't be following the slope of the yard. I would like to be able to put it as close to the house as possible, understanding that I would need to move the shed in the event that the siding needed to be replaced. And then the height estimate was a worst case stack up from what I could gather from the shed dimensions and then the various points on the yard. So I think it'll be lower than that 12 inches, maybe 6 to 8, but I do believe it'll be above the top of the gutter.
Okay.
I think,
So do you have the exact height of of the shed at the top point?
Only an estimate, and I don't have that in front of me. I can dig that up. I apologize.
It looks like to me it's gonna be appreciably lower, but I don't know.
Yeah, I
Information
think
have.
when I measured it based on the estimate I got from the constructor, and again, they were going to attend, but their building suffered some flood damage today. It did stack up to be above the top of the gutter, but obviously if it ends up being lower, I do want to tuck it in under there.
It should be lower, but I mean, this is a prefabricated structure, isn't it?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't we know what the height is?
yeah,
Well, he means where it's gonna hit
Okay.
because he has to fix the ground.
So, it just seems like with a foot between your shed and your garage, just, I don't know. I don't know how you maintain that. You said you'd move it if you had to, but like mold and wetness and all the problems that you're going to have in that little slot and not be able to get in there. It was just, when I saw it, I just thought, why don't you move it away a foot and a half or so more?
If there's a minimum that you recommend, we can work with
I
that. I was
mean-
trying to keep it as far away from the tree in the backyard as possible.
I just think for me visually, the more it can disconnect with the house, because they don't really relate in that sense, but just from trying to maintain it, it seems like whatever the minimum would be 30 inches to 3 feet to me, and maybe someone else has a different thought, but at least enough to get back in there and clean it out.
I'd say 3 to 4 feet would be
Right.
ideal. So
even to construct it, you're not gonna be able to
Right. I don't know how you,
get the siding on the outside, or maybe it comes out as a unit, I don't know, but
at that point, then it doesn't to me, it doesn't really directly relate to the house as much, and it's kind of standing alone. So 3 feet or 4 feet space between them.
Yeah, I think that probably moisture control is on everybody's mind right about now. And I think that you might potentially have some issues with rainwater and mold and drainage if it's just that small area. And plus, if you move it down the hill farther, it's going to look lower in relationship to the house. So in a way, that drop in grade can become your friend as far as the height of the shed goes. So I think that might address some issues for us if it was moved 3 or 4 feet away. And then also with what you're planning to level the grade, is there going to be a gap between the bottom of the shed and the top of the grade?
A gap between the bottom of the shed and the
Yeah, because usually when you see those sheds, they have a ramp that goes up to them because the floor is not flush with the ground. I mean, they set up a little bit, and
Okay.
if there's going to be any sort of visual gap there, because it is right at the front of the house, that would need to be covered.
Okay. I believe that the shed had like a 4-inch foundation on it, but I don't know what that aesthetically looks like from the side that's facing the street on the corner there.
when you say foundation, what is that material? Is that concrete or a wood floor?
I imagine it's, again, I'm not entirely sure, so I'd have to
Okay.
check with the manufacturer.
Or would you be okay moving it 3 or 4 feet off the garage? Is that all right with you?
I'll have to look at that. I don't know. That comes awfully close to that tree. The other option, if it's able to tuck directly up against, does that make it acceptable? If it can be under the
No,
gutter?
I see. I was
I
looking.
think it
for
would
the
have
tree.
to be lower. You can't have it sticking up above the existing home.
Right. So if the condition is that that top roof line, it came underneath that gutter line, would
Gutter.
that make it acceptable?
If it tucked under and it was like just directly against it, that's what you're saying?
Yeah.
Would you be able to miss like all downspouts and, if there's a downspout, you can't go under the gutter, right?
Right. The downspout is on the outside of the fence, so it'd be completely clear of that. And then with the intent of the lean-to direction was so that anything coming off the shed would run away. But again, on the garage there's no basement into the house underneath the garage. So I think that was an addition from the original 1949.
Would you be open to moving the shed back so it's flush with the rear wall instead of being centered on that garage wall? So
Sure.
it steps back from the home a little bit more?
That wouldn't be a problem if that's,
Where does it go?
Just so that it looks like it's centered on this wall, if we can move it back
Oh, I see what you're saying.
from the front of the house.
Yeah.
Here, that in there. Yeah, you can really see it over here. That's a
Oh,
good
yes,
idea.
here,
Move it back there. It's off of there a little bit.
Yeah, I guess for me, if it went directly up against the house, I would still be concerned for you about maintenance, but visually, if it was tucked under, I mean, it'd have to be tucked under.
Mhm.
And so I'm not sure that, I think that's an option. I'd be concerned. You'd almost want to flash that into the wall at that point, or you're gonna have other moisture issues.
Right.
Or see if you can move it away, 3 feet. And I know you said you're concerned about the tree, so it's a question, is it gonna be an issue or not? How far is the tree away from the house?
yeah, I don't have those exact dimensions. Again, I'm only remote because I'm out of town. Otherwise I'd be there. I do apologize.
Oh, no, that's okay. I think really that's the question for me. If you can move it away and it's not a problem for the tree, that would probably be your easiest
Okay.
solution.
I mean, would it work for you and for everybody here? Do you want to just take a little more time and verify the drip line of that tree and what kind of clearance you can get between the house and the shed before a decision is made, or what's everybody?
Yeah,
comfortable
Tom,
with
what
that?
do you want to do, Tom?
Yeah, my preference, if it would be okay with you, is to modify it so that it tucks under, and then I can move it to flush with the rear. So if there was a way to do a conditional approval or a approval, with those binding requirements, then that would be my preference.
And there's no downspout at the rear, correct? Yeah. Okay.
Correct. Yeah, there's only a downspout on the front, and it's on the street side of the fence, so it's
Okay.
well clear of the shed.
Well, our only suggestion about that space is I'm not going to force you on that one, but I think you're opening yourself up to a lot of maintenance issues down the road. But
Yeah.
you're taking
Understood.
it on, you're taking that challenge on yourself.
Right.
No, I understand.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with improving that condition, I guess, and then the city will review it when it comes in. How's everyone else feel about that? Okay.
Okay with that.
So basically we're saying just slide it back flush with the rear. Okay.
Under the
And verify that it's level and that there's not a visual gap between the bottom and the grade.
It's on the ground.
And then it's lower than the gutter.
Yeah.
It's gonna have to be lower than the gutters to
I have to,
function. Okay. Well, let's do that. How about a motion on that?
Make a motion to approve 523 Ambergate with the following revisions or clarifications. The shed will be moved so that it's flush with the rear wall of the existing home. The shed will be up against the existing garage wall. And the roof line will tuck under the existing gutter line. If there is any exposed area between the bottom of the shed and the earth, it will be covered with the material to match the shed.
Second.
All in favor?
Right?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? All right, Tom, you're approved.
All right, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Have a good night. All right, next we got 604 West Glendale. Please come on up and introduce yourself.
I'm Steve Moss. I'm with Basic Concrete and Garages.
Welcome, Steve.
Okay, any questions you have, I'm here
Yep.
to answer.
We have a few questions for you for sure. Who wants to start?
Oh, we had talked about the front. Right?
The front of
Oh, yeah.
addition? Is that what we're saying?
Over the front door. The drawing looks like it's showing some railing material, but it doesn't look like that got installed.
It's just a standard, I'm matching the house with the side. The garage door is the standard where the panels, it looks like you got square panels, in the door.
We're
But
addressing,
I put up, well, I don't put up cheap product in my building.
Okay, we're talking about the building.
Oh, the guttering?
No,
Okay,
the building itself, the main house, the front door of the main house,
pardon me.
the front door of the main house.
Oh, no, that's not me. I'm with the
Okay.
detached garage.
So maybe
part
you're
of
the
this.
next
Oh, you're just the
item.
detached garage?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
There's
there's-
two plans you have on your agenda.
Yeah, you're
One
right.
of them is for the detached
Do we-
garage and
okay,
the other
that's
one is
next.
for
Okay.
some work, other work that you haven't done. I guess.
right. That was the one on the house was a project that was previously reviewed and approved. And then when they went out to look at it, it was determined that it was not built according to plan. So that the house is coming back to us regarding the revisions that were not built according to plan. And then there's a separate item at the same address, which is the new detached garage, which is what you're
Me,
working on.
that's me.
Right.
All right, so what we're gonna do is look at the garage. Since you're standing up here,
Yes.
we're looking at the house, so.
And I had talked to a plan reviewer, I guess, about where the site plan was. I had 9.5 marked and she wanted it 8.5 and I have a revised plan for that
Oh. Site plan.
site plan. For
Okay, so on the garage, let us catch up here since
Okay.
we're looking at the house.
All right.
Give me a second. I need to catch up. Okay. So you brought with you a new site plan,
Yes.
but the garage is the same size.
Everything's the same size. The only thing she wanted was I had 9.5 marked on to keep it away from a tree, which 8.5, she says that foot is not gonna affect anything with the garage. And I says, well, I can get a site plan revised for the 8.5 that you want, which is what I did.
Oh, okay, I got you. Okay, so we're just really commenting on the aesthetics of the garage. So I don't know if we got to this one. Do we have any questions? I guess I had a question about the detailing on the roof. Was my question.
I had one minor thing that I think is a
Okay.
drawing thing, very minor. The window that's shown over the garage doors, and I'm mostly asking this because I have seen this on projects when,
I have one window in
yeah,
the
it's a
gable.
will it look just the same? So on the drawing, the proportions are a little off. It shows the top one short and the bottom part tall, but it's gonna
All
be
my
regular.
windows would be the same in the whole garage.
Okay, because I've seen this done on a house and I thought it was odd looking where they had a window like that.
Aesthetics.
Just want to make sure.
I'm real big on the aesthetics part. I know you guys want everything to flow to match the house, so
Yeah.
I put match the house.
Okay,
So that's what I
Good.
shoot for.
yeah, okay, great. I thought so. I just wanted to make sure.
And then you were mentioning the garage door style. We had some
Yeah, it's
questions.
just a
about-
standard garage door. You know how you see the like square panels in the garage
Yeah.
where it looks like a raised panel in the middle of it's just a nice door.
Okay, yeah, it's just, it's drawn like it doesn't have raised panels. That's why, we just wanted to
Again, my
verify.
architect, he doesn't get real technical with
Okay.
his drawings as far as a raised panel of my garage door. He knows I give, I put nice product on because that's what's going to sell my next garage.
Okay, so we'll just, when we vote on it, we'll just, call out that it'll be a raised panel overhead door style. And then, what about the side hinge door, the man door on the side is, what style is that going to be?
That again, normally I have a smooth, but I can put the raised panels on that too also if you like. Some of them might have the raised panels, some of them I don't.
Okay, will there be any plans for any glass in that
No.
door or no?
No.
Okay, okay,
They did not tell me they wanted a glass door,
Okay.
so. Pardon me? Metal. It's insulated steel is what it is.
Right.
so the side hinge door will have a paneled style as well.
Pardon me?
The side hinge door, the man door.
One, I guess
Yeah,
it will.
I just, we want
You
something
want
that,
standard, you want aesthetics to flow, and that's what I try to do with all
Yeah.
of it.
yeah, just so it's not just a plain
Sure, I understand. You don't want just a
industrial
flat
looking
door.
flat door.
You want
right.
something with a little style to it.
Yeah, right. So it'll have a panel design
Yes.
that's coordinates with the overhead door design.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah, and then my only comment was just on the eave condition. It was hard to see on the house, but, and maybe this is just a drafting thing, but the fascia board that comes down on the gable, it's drawn as this big block on the eaves. I'm wondering if that's how you're gonna build it or if you're,
Block off, like when my gables come down, I block off my square them off. you
yeah.
know, On the
But,
gables.
but you'll read the rake board, the fascia board will be proud of that flat portion.
Yes, the fascia's here, my boxing, we're boxing
Yeah.
right into the fascia there.
Gotcha. And I think to me, I just saw that and it was kind of the question because
Yeah,
So, and this is often called a pork chop, right? Where it has the thing hanging off of it. Is it going to have that look? Because you said it will
Okay.
run into the square part, but the square part will be back flush
Okay, when
against
you-
the siding?
Look at 90% of the garages you see today, when you look at that gable, you see them boxed off.
Mhm.
And that's the look that it'll have.
It won't look like this.
you will, but the fascia board will be out front of it.
Right, you'll have the fascia and then behind the fascia is the box.
But not right here. The face, that would be, the box is way back at the face of the wall.
Okay, the walls, here's the wall.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the gable that comes down, then you're boxing off here to where you get this boxed off look for your gable. So it's not,
Yeah.
a jogged look or anything, you know what I'm saying? It flows with the gable, with the fascia. You understand what I'm saying? It
Yeah.
comes down,
And we'd prefer it not like the fascia that comes from the gable and goes like this, that it goes like this the whole way. And there isn't a part that goes horizontal down at the bottom. It's a closed gable that goes
okay,
sloped
yes,
with
it's all,
the
it's a
gable.
closed gable. When the gable comes down like this, it's got the fascia on the front of the gable,
Yeah.
okay? You got soffit underneath
Yeah.
the gable.
Yeah.
It comes down when it reaches the bottom. That's when you reach your fascia here on the side, and then it's all boxed off at the end of the gable. So it has a nice, clean, finished look
And that protrudes out with the whole fascia and all that.
with the fascia.
Yeah,
It-
and
you
we
know,
would prefer it not, I prefer.
Well,
it
what
not
I'm,
to
what I'm,
We
it's,
could-
it's not flush with the fascia.
Yeah, I don't like
It
the way
sits
that
back
looks.
That 1.5 inches. The fascia, I have a 2x6 fascia that I use. I don't use
Yeah.
1x. I beef up my building, try to do, whatever I can do to make it better. So as far as the soffit, it's underneath the fascia. It doesn't protrude or go even with the fascia. What it does is the fascia it remains the fascia, and then the box comes flush with the side fascia. You understand what I'm saying
Mhm.
here? It's not flush with the outside. It's flush with underneath where it meets the fascia underneath where you're boxing it off.
Yeah.
it's not a flush. I mean, it's
Yeah.
a nice appearance is what you're getting.
It's that.
That's not what they typically, what he's describing isn't what they, because they often look like that all over the place.
Mhm.
And it has that whole, it looks just like what it's drawn there. I mean, this comes out, this comes out this far
Mhm. That's it.
and that's it, not this far.
Mhm.
Well, the box is underneath all the faces, all the soffit is underneath all the fascia. And that's where the box comes in is where because that's where you're meeting your soffit. So you're
Mhm.
giving that squared off, filling in all the soffit underneath the fascia with a clean look.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm explaining it good
No,
enough.
that's
for
fine.
you.
It's fine. Yeah.
All right. I think we can probably do a motion on this one. Any other comments? If not, for the garage, not the house, 604 West Glendale. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve 604 West Glendale Garage with the following clarifications that the overhead garage door will have a raised panel design. The man door will also have a raised panel design. I think was that all the clarification?
And the fascia board will be separate from the soffit on the gable end.
And the fascia will be installed proud of the pork chop soffit design. Yeah.
That works. All right. Debs,
Second,
all in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Oppose? All right, 604 West Glendale Garage approved.
Can I give you my revised plan for the site? For the site plan?
That's a question for Yolanda and
Yeah, I mean, we can take them.
I can't.
all right.
Hi,
Yep.
thank you, everyone.
All right, have a good evening.
Evening.
Appreciate it. All right, then we're gonna back up to the house. Is there anyone here for the same address with the house? Is there anyone left online? So we're gonna table that one. 604 West Glendale Avenue amendments to the addition is gonna be tabled since no one's here to discuss it. So that brings 801 Greeley. Come on up. Good evening. Welcome back.
Thank you.
All right. Any comments from the board?
Well, I think we were supposed to get new drawings, but we haven't had any opportunity to review anything, so
No problem.
I don't know if we'll be able to actually review all this and let it, I don't know if a quick glance during this meeting is gonna.
Eliminating one of the materials, so it is called out to match the existing house for the 40
You got rid of the metal.
everything else.
That was in here.
This is in this one?
Yeah.
I thought
Well,
you were saying we
you
were
can
getting
pass those
new.
out. Just.
Yeah.
I don't think you have this.
No,
Okay.
No, we don't.
The only change is the siding.
Oh, I thought I saw a note on these that said
Stucco.
either or. Stucco or, okay. Been a long week.
We had 3 different materials going on and one was metal. another
Right.
wood, and we kind of left it, we prefer to maybe match the existing house a little bit.
Yeah,
So with lap siding to match the house on that corner that was metal.
yeah, no,
It got kind of crazy this past week and everything else going on. What was
Yeah.
holding us up was the tree preservation plan. We finally received that and that's submitted now.
okay, so,
So that's the only change here. The
Yes,
windows
that's
and
the change.
doors and everything's all
Yeah,
the
it
same.
did
Okay.
tweak the plan a little bit. There was a bump for that metal and we recessed it, kind of tucked that
terminate that wood siding up against something.
Yeah, since the materials are a little dissimilar now.
Very subtle change. I'm not supposed to talk to them. She's the brains of the outfit
No.
here.
Are these all the same?
So the only reason we were submitting informational only at the last review is because we had not received the tree preservation plan. So we appreciate you reviewing that. So we did receive that. And then the only other change in front of you was from the comments in our last discussion with the materials.
So
Changing
where
that back
the
corner.
metal surround is horizontal lap.
Correct. Mhm.
That's A3. Here's A4.
Apologize for the two-sided printing on that sheet. It was a copier mishap that I didn't notice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so there is a change again.
I know, you think I would catch that. That one's on me.
I do like the horizontal siding there. I
Better?
think that
Yeah.
simplifies it.
Hmm.
Go ahead and approve it. Okay. Minus dated 8/1/22.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only change.
Most recent one.
Is there the gable that's that has a stucco on it? That roof line, is it open rafters or is that a closed? Like, do you have a fascia and soffit on that? It's open and there's no other open.
Soffit, yeah. I'd like those tails to be expressed
Exposed rafter tails.
ultimately. We're still kind of getting into the detail phase here, but
Yeah,
that's the idea.
but
If you look
that
at-
doesn't
if you look at
exist
that on a
anywhere
page
else.
report There, but from the side, you'd see the tails. They're probably not drawn on those drawings, though.
Hmm.
That section starts to talk about it on page.
Yeah, it's still from the
3.1.
same view though.
Yeah, I guess I'm just clarifying because I don't see that anywhere else on the existing home, right?
No,
So
but
that would be
I don't know,
another-
they have pre-finished soffit panels, probably vinyl way up there, and it's boxed off.
Yeah, as we mentioned last time, our intent would be to remove the vinyl soffits and the vinyl siding as we work along further with the house to reveal the original siding underneath.
There's a weird little line on that east side underneath the window, or the boo-boo there.
Mm-hmm.
Any changes to the garage or that stays the same in the previous
Garage
one?
is
No
same as
changes to garage.
previous, yeah. Yeah, this packet today is just the stuff that changed. Should have done a whole new packets. We can get you a new one if you'd like.
Cedar and
And the garage door style, I don't know if we talked about that last time. It looks like it's just flush panels, is that right?
The door, yes, yeah. Yeah, more modern appearance. And a full light. door.
Stucco and the vertical cedar.
Mhm.
With the, Vinyl siding production alternate. It's gonna be very cool.
yeah, I don't, how many comments? Looks great. I did notice your detail for traditional stucco. I just priced that out with a Shilly going with a cement board and a 2-coat instead, and it saved a lot of money. So you guys
Okay.
might look into that. That's what we're doing on a house on Rosedale.
Okay.
So,
Like just a extra backer board and.
and really when I got into it, I looked at it, it's drive-it system. It's drive-it stucco. It's not yeah.
We thought about like ethos.
But it's not ethos. It is drive-it. It's a cement. Instead of the traditional first coat with the mesh.
Yeah.
The lath. Shilly gave us a price though significantly less than the traditional because we were doing it that way. So look into that.
will.
And when I saw it at first, I was like, what? Drive it? Come on. I don't, but then I went and looked it up and drive it does make it. It's a replacement for traditional stucco, but a lot less expensive. So I just wanted to share that with you because I know the comments weren't shared because I had sent that to Mara and she said she didn't send the comments. So I wanted to take this moment to share that knowledge that I had just learned with you guys. But I don't have anything else on the design. Does anyone else have anything? We good? Good for a motion?
Make a motion to approve 801 Greeley. Predicated on revised drawings submitted today and that were dated 8/2.
Correct.
8-1.
8-1. They're actually
8-1.
8/1.
Yeah.
I gave them, no, I gave them our mistake.
All right, do I have a second?
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, 801 Greeley, you guys are approved.
Very much.
Thank you.
You're
very
welcome.
much.
Have a good
Appreciate it.
evening.
You
The meeting is officially done. It's been a long week.